Good morning, everybody. It's Ron here over at Becoming Enlightened Together. We're going to do another rune reading for today, Tuesday, the 30th of December. It's almost the new year, guys. I hope everybody's, highly anticipating the possibilities as this is a year of change. Now, 2025 was the number 9 in numerology, which comes to completion of something. Okay, so this year was to wrap things up, old things coming back together, and then putting them in their proper place. Um, some people, like for example, reunite with old loved ones that they have grown apart from, and maybe they've been apart for years. Others basically have cut that cord completely. Um, and 2026 is basically the number 10 in terms of numerology, which indeed is the end of a cycle, the beginning of a new cycle. So that's what we're experiencing. And if you're like me, maybe you've noticed certain things, feeling certain things in a physical sense. For me personally, I haven't been able to sleep at all. I mean, I sit there and I look at the acoustic, the acoustic on the ceiling, and the little ridges and everything like that, and then basically I just don't sleep. 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm still looking. I meditate, I do everything I can to try to put myself to sleep, but I just can't. So I have this almost supernatural, energy right now. I work out, I do all these things, and yet, when it's time to sleep, even though my body feels tired, I can't go to sleep. Also, I noticed that my face started breaking out again. And it's like, acne? I'm a grown man. I'm retired, for God's sakes. What the hell is this all about? So it's like I'm going through puberty all over again. And in a sense, we all are. If you are walking that spiritual path. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, we've all been hearing, if you're walking the spiritual journey, about this, Mother Gaia or the earth in general. Its resonance, its frequency is changing, and those who are, and I use the term loosely, the chosen ones, the elect, if you will, those who are basically walking hand in hand with both this material world, but also and equally balanced with the spiritual plane of existence. We're trying our very best to reach that spiritual place of excellence, really understanding what that means and grasping every straw that we can to climb that ladder, if you will, that Jacob's ladder, so to speak, to get to the heavens, to really understand it and to really embrace that side of our makeup as well. Because we are spiritual as well as physical beings. And there is a masculine and a feminine attribute that we need to balance and embrace as well. I know there are people who disagree with that, but for me, everything that I've ever put together and read, scientifically, dogmatically, and I've looked at esoteric and occultic books as well, and I put all this information together. It's the only thing that makes sense to me. It does. It really puts that puzzle together in a way that nothing else singularly could. So, anyways, I digress. What is the energy for today? We're doing a rune reading for today, Tuesday the 30th, and we're getting close to the new year. I hope you guys are excited about it. I know I am. Lots of changes this year. Last year was hell for me. I literally went through hell. But anyways, I'm all good too, because at the same time it helped me to grow, and I had many encounters that helped me to really put my perspective in the right place. So I'm very thankful for that learning journey. Now, the week's overall energy, which we pulled on Sunday, is Yera, and Yera is in the upright. Now, Yera talks about harvests, cycles, basically bringing in the fruits of your earlier efforts. So you're going to harvest all of the work that you have done up to this point. Okay. The 2025 is number 9, or adds up to number 9 numerically, numerologically, if we're looking at you know um, that type of aspect in divination, which a lot of people do believe in. I do as well. I believe the universe is ran through mathematics and so on, so it makes sense to me. But numerology dictates that this is the closing or the ending of a cycle. In 2026, we step into the actual end and beginning of a new cycle, and I can feel it, as I said at the beginning of this. So that's basically, going hand in hand with what we're looking here in terms of our energy as well. Now, our present energy is that of Hagles. Hagles is also in the upright, and Hagles talks about basically hail. That's really what it represents. And hail has the ability to destroy just a fragment of a crop, or it can destroy the entire crop, which back in the days, entire villages relied, completely upon the yield of their crops that they were trying to grow. So that could mean calamity in some cases. And the same thing with us in terms of, what the world or in general life brings before us, because it talks about, uncontrolled forces or destructive forces, the wrath of nature, if you will, but also the wrath upon you as an individual, if you allow it to do so. Now, things can attack each and every one of us, and each and every one of us, even though the attack may be identical to two people, the response to those is going to differ from person to person. So you can use it to grow from, become stronger, if you will, or you can allow it to destroy you. That's kind of what this is getting at. Okay, so it talks about crisis, which leads to completion and harmony, if you allow it. Okay, like I said, last year was really difficult for me, and if I was to share everything I had to go through and what I was able to do and achieve, even regardless of those things, some of you would be inspired by that. Others would roll your eyes and say, I wish you would die or whatever, because they're just people like that. So, but I didn't. I'm still here, and I'm not going away. So deal with it. That's all I got to say. If you're one of those cross watchers that I talk to from time to time on here. Alright, now as far as our obstacles and challenges, what we have is the great journey, Radho, the blessed journey. Now, Radho talks about anything dealing with forward movement, if you will. First off, it talks about the materialistic carriage or means of propelling oneself forward, your car, your cart, your wagon, your carriage, a plane, a boat, whatever the case may be. It even talks about the elements of that, like wheels, moving, things of that nature. But it also talks about movement in terms of your spiritual journey and a physical, if you will, movement of some type. Moving forward. Maybe you want to make changes in your life in some way. So you're moving forward with that desire. That's what it talks about as well. It talks about crisis, which leads to completion, and the harmony. Okay? Harmony of your life. As we stated with Hagles. So it's no different with this. Going with the flow of the cycles, the personal rhythm, and the dance of life, so to speak. Okay? So evolutionary change is basically what Radho can represent to us. Now, in terms of our help and advice, we have the rune Othala. Now, Othala again talks about prosperity in many ways, not just physical prosperity, but also the prosperity that comes from, what you've been handed down through your ancestry, your inherited, energies. And that can be in ways other than just materialistic inheritances and things like that. You can inherit certain abilities, skills, knowledge. You are basically your ancestors. Their blood is your blood. You would not be here if it were not for your ancestors prevailing and overcoming the many obstacles that those earlier societies had to endure to allow you to be here in the here and now. So we get much of who we are from our ancestors. Okay, so it talks about homes, houses, dwellings, property, heritage, inheritances, inherited property and possessions. It talks about what is important to a person or a group. So it talks about individual and group prosperity. It talks about the land of one's birth. It talks about your experiences, your fundamental values. It also talks about having aid in your physical and your spiritual journey. It talks about the source of safety, increase, and abundance. And our final rune, which is for our future outcome, is Sowilo. Now that was the overall energy that we had last week. And Sowilo in the upright talks about the sun, victory, clear vision, clarity, honor, achievement, your goals being achieved, life force, health, and vitality. Talks about power being available to you to make the changes we looked at in both Hylas and Radho. It talks about victory and success, as we looked at through Othala. It talks about higher forces working with you in your unconscious. And we saw that represented both in Yara, well, we saw it represented as a whole in this reading. So basically what we're looking at is you not only coming to the conclusion of this cycle, but you're needing to reflect upon that, to thank those in which you believe are there to help and to guide you in this journey, whether it's your higher self, the Lord himself, God above, source, the universe, whatever it is you believe or whatever it is you call out to or work with, if you will, in the spiritual journey. No judgment whatsoever from me. I look at all things being possible until I've shown or proven through my own research that it's no longer viable. Okay, and that's the scientific reasoning. That's what we should all be applying to every decision we make. So, with that being said, I wish you the absolute best in this coming new year. Victory only for the collective. And long ways down the road, we will once again get together and fight this final battle in Valhalla. Take care. God bless.